Hello everybody and welcome back to the Figure Forecast. We're your hosts King Damo and Sammy Drip Drip. Royal Rumble. That's what we're going to talk about today. It's been a little while now. It's had the time for the dust to settle, but we're going to have to go through all of our thoughts on another, I'd say, good premium live event from WWE. Let's roll that intro and then we can get straight into it. So, Royal Rumble 2023. Quickly, yay or nay? Good or bad?
Yay.
Yay. I'd say in a word, yay as well. But
done.
Yeah,
Podcast done.
there you go. That was over
Tune in
in
for the next one.
about a minute and a half, I think. There.
Yeah, nice.
Let's start at the beginning of the show. Opening, it was the men's Rumble.
Men's Royal Rumble.
A little bit surprised, but as the show went on, it made more sense why they opened with the men's Rumble. But I always think it's good to open with a Rumble, especially now you've got two. Start the show off great. We didn't get many of our predictions right for the men's Rumble. Surprises were few, but is that just us expecting too much? Maybe.
I don't know. They've got such a big roster now, haven't they?
Yeah.
They need to make use of the people. I think the only surprise was Booker T.
Yeah, which
legend
was a surprise.
Yeah, that's kind of right. Commentator on NXT, but
I mean, before the match started, Pat McAfee did return to WWE, so I was like half right. He was at the Royal Rumble, he just wasn't in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah.
And before we talk about the matches, throughout the entire show, he was so good. I've forgotten how good Pat McAfee is at commentary and how much we've missed him.
Yeah, he is brilliant. He's actually got a personality and it shines through.
He brings out everybody else's as well.
Yeah. I read that the other commentators didn't know he was coming back, and that was a genuine reaction from Michael Cole and Corey Graves, I think was the other one.
Yeah, it's always funny when we do that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Don't tell people about returns so you can get their real reactions.
Exactly. What do you think of the Rumble then? The first men's Rumble?
Minus a couple of hiccups. Kofi, obviously.
Yeah, we mentioned that, didn't we? And failing his spot
again. But outside of that and a few other tiny little bits, I thought it was a really good Rumble.
Yeah.
I wish that Cody had not come out as 30, given that he was going to win.
Yeah.
Because when it got to 29 and he hadn't come out, obviously we knew he was going to be 30. But at the same time, that saves the disappointment of no surprise entrant at 30, I guess. So
yeah. I guess it all links in the way that they did the men's Rumble first, as you sort of alluded to earlier. Was the whole Sami Zayn's not going to be in the Rumble. The way that they did the break later in the show, it sort of worked well, because there wasn't going to be a big surprise, so you might as well have the big star coming back at 30. Yeah,
you can't really have the crowd turn on the story if the story hasn't started yet.
Yeah.
Like if Sami Zayn's story has started to develop and then you have the Rumble, the crowd might turn on it. At least at the Rumble you can avoid that boo by doing it this way, which it was smart.
Yeah, it was. I said to you before and during, I was saying I really hope Cody don't come out at 30, but subsequently in the week, I was about to say weeks, but it's only been a week, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Somehow they've managed to tie it all in pretty well with these two stories revolving around Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
Both feeling like big deals, not one seeming bigger than the other, which is pretty remarkable for WWE.
Yeah, it's be interesting to see how it goes in the weeks to come. Obviously, we've got Elimination Chamber and then the final stretch into WrestleMania. But it seems that, at least in live attendance, the crowd are pretty behind both challengers. So they're not turning on Cody in favour of Sami at the moment.
There's our special guest, the barking dog. No matter what time of day we record, he's there.
Morning, noon and night.
Exactly. But, I mean, the Royal Rumble in general, I think, was a pretty good one. I like what they did with Gunther.
Yeah.
He's obviously the Iron Man. I think he might have broke the record for the longest time in the Rumble, I think. I could be wrong with that. I think Liv Morgan did as well. But, yeah.
Very long times.
The way they did sort of after everyone else was eliminated and it was just Cody and Gunther in there, they pretty much did their own little match.
Yeah, that went on for quite a while. It must have been a good 5 or so minutes, maybe longer. having not watched it back, it's hard to tell. But yeah, it went on a very long time.
There
but
were
felt very dramatic.
Yeah.
It could go either way somehow.
There were rumours a few weeks ago, or maybe last year now, that it was going to be Gunther against Lesnar at Mania, and then they sort of called, and it looked like Lesnar was going to face Lashley at Mania, but now that's sort of heading towards the Elimination Chamber, so I'm just wondering maybe it is going to be Gunther against Lesnar.
I mean, they did tee up a showdown between them,
Yeah.
whether it's a Mania or a SummerSlam. It does look like WWE are going that way at some point.
It's just so good, and I'm glad that at least it seems like they've got some big plans for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean...
And how Lesnar's being booked at the moment is very entertaining, and he is being used to enhance rather than bury, which is always a good thing, because I do love watching Brock Lesnar matches.
Big Banter Brock is in full force still.
They are annoying when you get one every couple of months and he wins the title, and you're like, ugh. But when he's popping up and having a bit of fun.
Him against Gunther's just a match I'd love to see. Those chops against Lesnar's physicality, oh god, be good. But I think just going back to the Rumble in general, pretty good one, fairly predictable. I think, did you predict him to win or not, or did we both go for The Rock?
Off the top of my head, I can't remember.
I think I went for The Rock anyway, and my heart was leading my head, but the safe bet won. I guess for both Rumbles in that sense. But it was entertaining. Good way to start the show for me.
What do you think to the Ricochet Logan Paul spot as well?
Wow, yeah.
I know Ricochet has done some pretty major spots. He's done the upside down super kick spot a couple of times. He's also done a similar spot on NXT, I think, to this one.
Something similar, I think, yeah.
But this, it's one of those spots that seems a little weird out of context. Like, why were they just going to do this? But at the same time, you've got Logan Paul and Ricochet effectively have ran into each other at full speed, but also now they're in the air.
It's pretty awesome.
I don't know how you protect yourself. They
don't know.
both look to be in pain for a good few minutes after this spot, but if you haven't checked it out, it's been all over social media. It is quite a ridiculous spot.
Logan Paul's very good, which is going to annoy a lot of people, but it seems like they're finally leaning towards him being that dickhead character.
Yeah.
That I guess a lot of people see him like in real life. For so long they were sort of leaning into him being a good guy. Like, I think he's more of a smiley heel. So it looks like it might be him against Seth as well at Mania. That's kind of what they're leading to. That could be a hell
of a match. Seth can work a great match with anyone, and he's got someone who is athletically talented. They can put on some amazing stuff.
Exactly.
Just one moment.
Excuse you.
Oh, I'm losing my voice. Was anything else set up during the Rumble? So obviously they carried on the Drew and Sheamus team, which feels like that's going to go into something at WrestleMania. I feel like that's the program they're working. I'm kind of hoping a triple threat for the IC title, because I think that match will be a banger, as Drew and Sheamus would say.
How annoying. I don't know if it annoys you, but it just does my head in when they do that.
But the banger
after banger, it's just like, they always seem to do it just a little bit too long.
Yeah, I feel that's the point.
But it gets awkward though.
I feel that's the point.
But they just seem like they seem like the kids at school that are just gimps. And it really annoys me.
Now who's insulting Sheamus?
Oh, and Drew McIntyre. They probably were though, but they've just took some roids and now look cool.
Shots fired. I'm steering clear of this one.
Yes. Anyway.
I think those are the big talking points from the men's Rumble.
Yeah.
So let's go straight into the women's Rumble.
Sure.
We'll cover the other matches afterwards. 1 and 2 lasted right until the end.
I got one of the first ones right as well. Yeah. I said Liv Morgan. She was asking for it, and she got it. Not really sure what she gets out of it. Well,
she came out at number 2.
Yeah.
She kept asking for number 1. She came out at number 2.
Yeah, a little bit weird, but I guess it's the same thing, really. Swings and roundabouts. But yeah, they both had the Iron Woman type booking for the match.
Yeah.
Again, if we were talking about the winner, predictable, I guess is the wrong word, but I guess the favourite one. And I don't think anyone complained that she won.
No, we both predicted it. Obviously, my prediction I immediately forgot about was Asuka, who did return with this new
twist
on her character.
Yeah. and she looks awesome, and it's definitely the refresh that she needed, I think.
Yeah.
She seemed to have gone a bit stale with her old character, but the new look, it just looks so intimidating.
There's potential that she will be going on to face Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
For
she's in the chamber, right?
Yeah. Women's chamber for number one contendership.
Yeah.
So that match.
That could be an awesome match.
Yeah. So WWE has potentially, if they go that way, have set up both women's main events with one Royal Rumble, because Asuka puts in a hell of a performance in coming third. Does she get eliminated before Liv? Can't remember how that final spot goes.
It was Liv and Rhea at the end, wasn't it? I think. Blinds
Liv.
Yeah.
Gets eliminated.
Rhea does like a Hurricanrana type thing to flip Liv out. One thing I want to talk about the Rumble. Number 30 spot. Do you remember it?
Yeah.
I remember it. The number 10 comes up and then they instantly start playing Nia Jax's music.
Yeah.
Visual.
They missed a jump on that one.
Yeah. I mean, what a strange decision to sort of firstly bring her back at number 30 and then completely mess it up. Obviously, it's not their choice, but they messed it up. Thankfully, it seems like it's not a long-term thing and it's only a single appearance. It seems
like it's been a one and done kind of thing, which is even more baffling, to be honest.
Yeah, it's such a weird thing, isn't it? Like, why 30? Why not just bring her back in a random number?
At least she didn't win.
Well, she wasn't in it for long.
No, she kind of got ganged up on and eliminated by everyone.
And then when she was out, she called him like a dickhead or something like that. I was in a very dazed state by that time, like in and out of consciousness. So
yeah, it was getting quite late for us here in the UK.
Oh yeah, God, don't start me with that. But yeah, I'm sure she hurled some sort of expletive at the women left in the ring. I have to watch it back, but I'm pretty sure she said, "Oh, you dickheads," or something like that. And it was quite clear on the camera.
If she didn't, I'd love to be your brain at that time in the morning to how you heard that.
Oh God. Just you saying it was getting late, I just remembered the whole that match being done. I think it was. And we're like, oh yeah, we're going into the main event finally, and then the realization that we had some musician that we've never heard of.
Yeah, Hardy coming out to perform.
It took like 20 minutes to set him up, and then he sang a song that was pretty crap, and then 20 more minutes to set him down. And then another 10 minutes for a package before the main event. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, WWE have gone to the live performance well a few times. It never works that well. The only time it does is if it's someone doing an entrance theme. That's fine. That works.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you're hyping up that match that's about to come. You're giving insert wrestler a big push by giving them this cool entrance. That works. But when you take a break to have a musical performance, I mean, it wasn't as bad as Kid Rock at WrestleMania that one time. Nothing will ever be as bad as Kid Rock at WrestleMania that one time, because I'm sure that went on for about half an hour.
It did.
But it doesn't derail the show, because obviously this is immediately followed by the main event. You can't really derail that, but it does just bring all the momentum to a bit of a halt.
It does. It's just a weird decision, and I don't know if he's massive in America and people know him, but anyone that I've asked, I don't think anyone has known who he was.
There's been rumours that WWE were not happy about the performance themselves, so fingers crossed that means they don't do any more of these, at least not for a while.
Oh God, he sucked, and the song was crap as well, and it's not country music. But anyway, let's forget about him, because he sucked ass. Before
we get to the main event, because we can talk about that for a while, let's quickly go over the earlier matches on the card. The main one I want to get your opinion on, because I know you're going to have some fun things to say about it, is the women's I want to get your opinion on the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match.
Yeah, another new look for Bray Wyatt. I mean, in terms of the LED aspect, it looked pretty cool.
It's not LED, but sure.
What is it? UV?
I can't think what the word is, but it's not. It's like
glowy stuff.
Yeah, but it's black light, isn't it? And then you've got UV paint, I think it is.
Fine. Glad Bray Wyatt didn't wear any of his swamp clothes in that UV light. But anyway,
Pat McAfee made a joke about glad he changed his trousers or something.
Yeah, I bet there was a few dorks in that crowd that were a bit worried, put their jackets over their trousers. Anyway, yeah, another new persona for Bray Wyatt.
it a new persona, or was it just
Well, it's another new look. At the very
yeah,
least.
I thought it was a pretty cool look.
It was cool how they did it.
If you took away all of the other stuff from the match, just he had that kind of glowy. I thought that look was pretty cool.
And there was sort of a couple of different looks within the match as well. So you had the main look until the bell, I think, and then he sort of went to the corner and changed his face, didn't he?
He had like white paint
type thing. It's not my cup of tea. I'm kind of interested to see where it goes because it's still early days, but
yeah,
I don't know really what I think about it. It's Bray Wyatt. He sort of did within the first minute. First 5 minutes there was a rest hold, and you're like, that's where it lets him down.
The thing is, Bray Wyatt has got a great mind for creative, but it's not wrestling creative necessarily. He would be really good on a TV show. He's making lore about a character. I would watch like a limited series about this kind of character that is built up over the years. If you think about it, it's drawn so many different horror tropes, but it is interesting kind of what he wants to do. It just, when you get into the ring, it kind of is missing something.
Yeah.
And WWE, I think, need to go back to basics with it, because they've had it work in the past. If you think how they did Kane and Undertaker, like, they had all the spooky bullshit going on. Undertaker's a literal dead man, and Kane is meant to be, well, it's like the devil's favourite demon, and they've got all of these weird, like, I can summon fireballs and lightning, and I can't be killed, but they still made all the matches work and believable. And
that's it. I never connected with those two characters either. They were never my favourite. And it's just that, well, if you've got supernatural powers, why are you doing a waist lock, or why are you doing a headlock, or all these things? Why don't you just shoot a fireball at them and kill them? But
maybe that's the problem.
Why are you in a wrestling ring?
Maybe that's the problem with the transition into the more work rate side of wrestling, is that you can't make it work, because effectively all Bray needs to come out is hit 5 or 6 big moves and win and look powerful, but everyone wants these long drawn out matches which don't really fit the character. It's kind of finding that balance, but I am interested to see what goes on with all the Uncle Howdy and all the different faces of Bray Wyatt.
I guess my most memorable bit from the actual match was Uncle Howdy jumping off that platform onto LA Knight. I know that he can't land on him because it would squish him, but it did seem excessively far away that he landed. It didn't look like he landed on him at all.
Needed a little bit better position from the cameraman to sell that, but there's limitations to what you can do.
I'm not completely going to bury it. I'm interested to see where it goes. I liked his new look, is what I'd say. It was cool. He looked cool.
The idea with the Blacklight match as well wasn't as shit as I thought it was going to be when it first started. I was like, oh no, this is what we're getting.
I've heard the drink actually tastes really nice.
Yeah, I've heard some good things about it as well.
It's around, but I guess the only other match we've got left to talk about before the main event is the women's title match, Bianca against Alexa. Thoughts on it?
It definitely felt like a stopgap match for Bianca. It kind of, the whole feud had to just get Bianca to her Mania feud.
Yeah, just keep wheels turning.
And no criticism to either performer, and it delivered what it was set out to do. It wasn't going to be match of the night, but it was still, they're both really talented performers, and they showed it in what they were asked to do.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it, isn't it? It was, I don't want to say a nothing match, but it was just one of those to keep things ticking over, like you say.
They are teeing up Alexa's involvement with Uncle Howdy. Obviously she's taking a break from wrestling for a while, but when she returns, potentially there is some story progression for her as well, so it kind of gets everyone where they needed to be for their future plans.
So I guess we're finally here, the main event, the bit that we're all waiting for.
Yeah.
The match itself was a really good match, and there were some brutal moments in it. Like, I think we were both wincing to ourselves when Roman was slamming Kevin Owens against the steps, like the actual jagged stair bit.
That looked very painful to take.
Yeah, and you saw these little moments throughout the match where Sami Zayn was also like, oh man, you're going a bit too far. I still care about this guy. Eventually it led to Roman Reigns winning and retaining. And then came the beatdown, obviously. So start beating Kevin Owens down, and then Paul Heyman brings out some handcuffs. which obviously there's history with handcuffs between these two guys, between Roman and Kevin, but they handcuff him to the top rope, start beating the shit out of him, and then I think Roman, does he ask Sami to get him a chair, or does Paul Heyman get him a chair? I think it might be Paul Heyman gets him a chair. Do you want to take it from here?
Oh, this is the beginning of, well, not the beginning of, this is the culmination of weeks of storytelling with Sami Zayn of, will Sami attack Kevin Owens? And they really draw this out, but it works so well. Roman gives Sami the chair and he's telling him, you got one last. That's it. He's about to. They're all about to embrace us. I mean, you got one last thing to do. He gives him the chair. You've got to hit Kevin Owens, and there's a good 5 minutes of Sami Zayn internally battling with himself about what to do. Roman gets all up in his face, and you can immediately tell that something switches that one, because Sami doesn't just like cower as he's done in the past when Roman's been aggressive towards him. He kind of squares back up for a moment and then steps off, and well, Sami recreates that infamous Roman Reigns moment, smashes him across the back with a chair. He drops to his knees in very similar fashion to the Shield implosion. And
Roman Reigns is just so good, isn't he? The look on his face of pain initially, and then sort of confusion and realisation that Sami's actually bit back.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Big pop from the crowd for it. And then they add further twist in the story, because then
no one saw coming.
Then the beatdown of Sami starts. Jimmy, I think, is one who gets in first, then Solo, and Jey Uso just stands there,
looking very conflicted in the back.
He looks angry, looks conflicted, and then he leaves. Now, I think there was a bit between Sami and Jey before the beatdown starts, and he's kind of like asking him why, but he just walks out, and the rest of the Bloodline continue to beat on Sami Zayn, leaving him in the ring. You can even see Kevin Owens trying to like break through to kind of help out, but that's kind of the final moments of the show. The unexpected extra layer of implosion on the Bloodline of Jey not wanting to get involved.
Just perfect, wasn't it? You've seen SmackDown this week as well?
I have.
Oh, just the way they've added to it.
Yeah, it's carried on. We'll talk about that when we get into our Elimination Chamber predictions and preview stuff coming soon. But what a final! I mean, it was very early in the morning for us. It was about 5:15 in the morning, which was a struggle to get to it. Part of me wanted it to end, but they dragged it out for. It was a good 15 minutes after the match of the storytelling, and probably the best WWE have done, maybe ever, but definitely in a long time.
Well, people have said it's the best this century, and I can't disagree with that. In the last 20 odd years, I can't think of a story that's better, that's been dragged out for a prolonged period of time. It was just perfect.
Watching it live helps, because obviously there's been some great stories in the past that we've not watched live, and have maybe gone back to them, and they lose a little bit of their greatness when you're not watching it unfold week by week. But it's
just the layers they put into it, like you say. We kind of expected the split to happen there, but then to add the Jey Uso layer onto the top of that was just like, wow, incredible. And how often can you ever say that about WWE? I don't think I've ever said that about WWE.
No. I fully expected Roman to snap and attack Sami. And
to have it the other way around, Sami to attack Roman as well. Just brilliant. I can't honestly say anything other than that. Just fantastic. Yeah. Again, I wouldn't change anything in it.
If you've not watched this, whether you've got the network, I think there's highlight versions WWE have uploaded to YouTube.
Yeah.
Search it out, have a look, because it...
Fantastic.
We somehow started the show with Cody versus Roman at Mania being like the big match. Yes, we're getting it. And then we end the show with, now we want Sami involved. And how WWE are going to get to Mania and what they're going to do with these two stories. We've seen little bits as we build to Elimination Chamber, but part of me still wants a triple threat, but at the same time, I don't as well. So I want that one-on-one.
But that's the perfect thing though, isn't it? See what happens at the Chamber, but in terms of the entire show for Royal Rumble, like we say, good show. Yeah,
I think on our grading thing we've been trialing, I think we gave it a B.
Yeah. That's a strong B as well.
Yeah, I think expectations for Royal Rumble are always super high. Expect loads of surprises and amazing moments, and maybe that's on us that we're expecting something that we never promised.
Yeah.
But it could very easily be A. There was just so much going on, and that main event and post-main event segment, yeah, like I said, best WWE have done in a long time.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited going into the Elimination Chamber this week, so see what happens.
Yeah.
Good show in general. So I'm going to hand over to Damien for the socials.
Yeah. We'll be releasing things for Elimination Chamber both pre and post, so you can check us out for updates on those on Twitter at Figure4UK. On Facebook by searching the Figure Forecast, and sometimes on YouTube also by searching the Figure Forecast. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.